So welcome to the first session in our Productivity Customer Hub. Doing it in EMEA friendly hours, if you will. So excited to have you all here today for our very first one. So today is all about personal productivity, and we'll go into a little bit more in just a second, as well as to what we are hoping to get from this Productivity Customer Hub. So we're on week 1 today, Tuesday the 14th, and then we go every week until March the 7th at the same sort of time as before. And apologies, I just realized that the timing of that is is 9 to 10, but it actually is 10 to 11. So wrong time zone kind of mess up by my account. So sorry for that. All of the recordings and the PowerPoints will be posted to our Modern Work Superheroes community. So before you would have done it via the team site, we actually now have a new Viva Engage stroke Yammer community that's been kind of going for some time. But if you do want to get any of the access to the recordings or the presentations from the entire customer hub that you'll see, then please do add yourself to that community. Very exciting to have that ready for you. In terms of some etiquette for today, so again, if you can remember to keep yourselves on mute throughout the presentation, that'd be really great and really useful, just so it doesn't distract other people. We do have the chat open, so please feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat, or just use the chat just to kind of communicate with one another. As I mentioned before, everything will be posted in the Modern Work Superheroes community afterwards. So please, I put it into the chat there. If you'd like to join the community, then please do. We'll also have verbal Q&A throughout. So there'll be opportunities for you to raise your hand. And I think it does kind of just, I guess, lend me to remind you to just be respectful and tolerant of others throughout the entirety of your time with us today. In terms of just some accessibility features as well, so there is music on the opening and closing slides. The magnifier tool, if you do need to, I guess, zoom in on any part of the presentation, just use the Windows key plus to turn it on, and then Windows key escape to turn it off. There's also the ability to turn on captions for yourself throughout the presentation. So if you just click the 3 dots for more, and then go down to turn on live captions, you'll be able to have that there. And then additionally, any of the chat messages, you can translate or use the immersive reader by, again, clicking on the 3 dots for more throughout. So it's not just me talking today, thankfully, but my name is Angela Lincoln. I am a go-to-market manager here in the UK for Modern Work Customer Success. What does that mean? I kind of am in the background for different programs and different opportunities to, again, get the most out of the Modern Work suite that you have available to you. And I have the incredible Stuart here today, so I'll have you introduce yourself, Stuart, if that's okay.
Thank you. You're never in the background, Angela. You're never there in the background. You're always in the foreground. My name's Stuart Riddow. I am part of our global technical customer success team, and I specialize really in looking at how we can use the Power Platform and Teams apps to really boost our productivity. So really glad to join you today.
Amazing. And so we're hoping that after today's session, you'll get a little bit better understanding just around, again, what the purpose of the Productivity Customer Hub is, some key kind of things in terms of Viva Insights for your own personal use, Power Automate, and then also looking at Power BI in Teams as well, which is a really great tool. So a little bit around kind of the Productivity Customer Hub, and what do we kind of mean by that? Because when you think about, productivity, it's a matter of just trying to do all these things all at one time. Why is this topic so important, and why did we want to create this customer hub? And the way that we wanted to look at it is that you have a technology tool set before you, and we wanted you to be able to get the most from what is available currently within the stack. So showing you things that you can kind of leave today, looking at from your personal use, ways that you can use the Teams and different apps within Teams for your own productivity needs. And then Week 2, we'll look at how your team can improve the way that they use Teams. So we actually have Chris Wilson and Richard Burton next week talking about different ways that they've done this within some of our policing customers within the UK, but then also different ways that you can use Forms and Power Automate in Teams to, again, alert and kind of keep everyone on top of different tasks and keep on top of those different, keep on track with different things that might be happening with different projects. And then from an organizational perspective is looking at what are the cross-functional ways that you can improve different elements. So looking at things as like Viva Engage to understand who within your organization might be experts, or looking at different ways that customers have looked at approvals to help lessen the time when it came to legal and contracts and different things that they're doing and getting alerted and notified within Teams. Again, all of this is stuff that you already have access to. It's just pulling out those use cases a little bit more so you can kind of get the most from it. And then the last week is really around administration. So feeling empowered, asking those questions, making sure you have the right governance, or have all of the tech experts on the call then, so you can ask those questions. And they'll go through maybe just some of the things that you might want to consider when setting up some of the features for your organization. So that's what we're hoping that you'll kind of get, and why we think this topic is so great. Again, just getting more from your investment with the M365 stack. So what I'll start with today is around Viva Insights. So looking at your own personal productivity, Viva Insights is an incredible tool, again, for your own personal use. And we'll go into a demo of it in a moment as well. So I think it doesn't, I think you've heard the name Viva multiple times. I'm not saying anything that you probably haven't heard before, but Microsoft Viva is just a way for, it's a tool, a new tool set that you have for helping teams and people kind of be their best selves, growing different capabilities. There's lots of different modules. You would have seen yesterday that we've just announced some new features within Viva Engage from a premium set. But what I'll be showing you today is going to be really around what you already have seeded within your current stack. So the components of Viva Insights is with your M365 license, you'll get the access to the personal insights piece. So this is the Insights app that's available in Teams. There's a daily briefing email that's available within Outlook, and you might have already seen that. There's some different elements that you have even just within Outlook in terms of an add-in or an inline that helps notify you, for example, if you're emailing somebody out of their current, out of their office hours or out of the hours that they've deemed as their time to work. And then there's the My Analytics web dashboard and digest emails. And we're actually in the process right now of upgrading this entire infrastructure in the background, which is really quite an exciting time for Viva Personal Insights. So it's all around prioritizing your well-being and boosting your productivity. It's all in the content of your own personal and private. So it's only what I'm going to show you today is only going to be available to you. So there's no kind of big brother watching. There's nothing else kind of in the background within there. And it's actually available to everyone that has an M365 license, which is quite an exciting thing. Loads of things around kind of privacy guides. So again, all of this stuff that you like, nothing is going to be available for anyone to kind of sneak or, spy on you in any type of way. I just say that just because sometimes when we show people just some of the capabilities in terms of focus time and what those things mean, then, we always get the questions around privacy. So I just wanted to kind of flash that up there as a way to ensure that that it's just for your own personal use. So I have quite a few slides that I'll go through, but I won't go through them in a lot of detail because I think where the magic really happens is being able to see things live and in a demo environment. So I will focus most of my time today on that. So just some key things that I will show you is if you want to add Viva Insights in Teams, if you just scroll over to your left-hand rail and there's the 3 dots there, you can actually search for Viva Insights and it should pop up. If it doesn't pop up for any reason, then that's something that we can bring up with your IT admin, and then we can have that conversation with them. So again, just adding the app in, you'll be able to then instantly get access and you can even follow along with me. There's a couple of things that you can already customize within the Viva Insights app. So looking at things such as your work week, so being able to schedule your hours so people can be notified if they're contacting you out of those business hours, which is a great thing to just kind of have that little bit of a reminder. And you can do that through the settings over in the right-hand side, and you'll be able to look at your work week from within there. You can also look to set your quiet time. So quiet time would be those moments that you want to make sure you're not getting notifications out of hours. I have my quiet time set in the evenings, and I also have my quiet time set all day Saturday because I don't want to know about work on a Saturday. I don't want anything getting pinged at me. And when you work in a global organization where other people's hours might be different to yours or their working patterns may be different, it's extremely helpful just to be able to look at those quiet time settings as well. And I'll show you all of this in a second. And then there's the element of building out a focus plan. So being able to protect your time, by getting distracted from different messages coming in and being able to have a time set in your diary that you can kind of set aside where you can then kind of focus on what's happening, not get pinged on the side, not get notifications from different emails coming in, and build out that focus plan. It's a really great way to be able to bring that into just to have those elements that you can then focus on the project at hand and book those times in. And providing praise. So an important part of any sort of well-being and being more productive and recognizing your colleagues is an important part of that. Being able to provide moments of gratitude to your colleagues, being able to do that in a one-to-one chat with them by giving them praise via insights, or also within a team environment and being able to provide them or give them praise within those areas as well. And I'll show you that in a second. If you want to have like a V team or teams that you kind of have all grouped together, that's something that you can also do to again know a little bit more about like their teamwork habits, what are their working hours, being able to easily access them if you wanted to send them a bit of praise as an example. And just also kind of staying connected to different people. So staying connected is within the Viva Insights app, and essentially it will help you kind of understand if you need to schedule time, maybe with one-to-ones with different people that you work with quite often, and within people that we have identified from AI that you're working more consistently with. But then in addition, if you do have a set aside time. And with all of us kind of working from home more frequently or in a hybrid environment, being able to have a virtual commute at the end of the day can be quite useful. So it's a way to kind of wrap up your day, schedule that time in, being able to go through what are some of the tasks for the day, what are some of the emails that are outstanding, walk you through that, and then actually end with a nice way to a nice headspace integration. So being able to kind of reflect on the day, do a little bit of a meditation, protect that time to really understand and wrap up the end of the day. And one of the best integrations that we even have within Viva Insights is actually the Headspace integration. So it's free and it's available for you to use. So you can do some basic meditations from within the day. Doing things like breather breaks is a really great thing to do. Some mindfulness exercises. One of my favorite things is actually the focus music, and I'll show you that in just a second. And you can even understand a little bit more about the effectiveness of your meetings. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to demo the demo to you all now a little bit more around Viva Insights. So this should be the right page. There we go. Brilliant. So from within Teams, again, I mentioned before how you can find it. If you press the three dots over here and you search for the app at the very top, and if you just put in Insights, it should pop up as one of the first things from within there. Now, I'm already in here, so I'm not going to necessarily redo it right there, but this is a really good look at just the app itself. So we mentioned before about the importance of sending praise to your colleagues to be able to show that moment of gratitude. You can easily just click send praise. It'll kind of remind you building all this thing around. I'm not going to go through every single little tap there, but if I wanted to send praise to one of my colleagues, I can just start to type in one of their names. In this case, I will type in Saif. And I can put it either in a chat directly to them, or I could put it in a Teams channel if I wanted to maybe publicize it to a larger group of people. And then these are all just the out of the box ones that we have ready to go. In terms of a team player, a kind heart, maybe a little bit of optimism, and I can put a little note around that and say like, Saif is the best and always makes me smile. I know that's not very creative, but it is a live demo. So there we are. I can preview that, or I can just send it directly on, and I can put it into that Teams channel just to, again, have that moment of praise and that moment of gratitude. By looking at praise as well, I can see actually my entire praise history. I can also build a habit of recognizing my colleagues. So I can actually set myself a reminder. Maybe every Wednesday at 4 p.m., I want to get reminded to send out a praise to someone within the organization. Again, really great way just to build that culture of gratitude, and sending a weekly praise reminder. Other key things from in here is that you'll notice that, like, how are you feeling about today, and reflection history. It's great to also just check in about the way that you're feeling, and you can also look back on this. Again, all of this is private to yourself, your manager, system administrator, nothing like that will be revealed to anyone else. And then lo-fi music in terms of headspace, one of my favorite things. It's, again, just a really kind of smooth mix in the background if you want to play it. If you're trying to get some work done, it's a really awesome tool to play that within there. Or just a quick breather break. Again, all of these are kind of out of the box if you wanted to play any of this music. There's a little bit of a mindfulness exercise that you can do as well, in terms of just reminding yourself to breathe. Again, really great tool to just kind of set you right for the day in terms of being more productive. And focus time. If I wanted to book it based on maybe there's a free spot in my agenda, if I click on more options as well, as I can actually look to set up focus time, maybe on particular days that are already available. I can start to build out a focus plan. And as I mentioned before, in terms of quiet time, maybe there are days that I want to make sure I'm not getting notifications out of my working hours. And I can mute all notifications on my mobile on certain days as well. In this case, I have it set for Saturday and Sunday, and I also have it set for, any time between the hours of 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., I also want to be notified. Now, if you are a person that is like, if I want my boss to notify me and I want to be able to book things over, then yes, you can definitely do that as well. Booking things maybe as your lunch hours as well, just as again, a bit of a reminder for yourself, and to have that as a recurring calendar event. And then also productivity inline suggestions, helping you book focus time, manage your tasks, all of this to kind of, again, bring out those different elements to help you be more productive throughout the day. And virtual commute is a great way to, again, wrap up the day, understand when you want to book that time in. Maybe it's 5 p.m. every day, and you say, that looks great. Maybe I want to start my virtual commute today just so I can show you, and I can say, maybe I want to book some focus time in as one of those things. When it comes to my tasks at the end of the day, what are my tasks that I did for today? I'm bringing those in from the actual app of To Do. And for winding down, I want to maybe start one of those ways to kind of disconnect from work for the day, in terms of maybe reflecting on my day, or doing a breather break, or maybe a body scan with Headspace. Again, kind of resting at the end of the day. And great, that's the end. And it's a beautiful picture scene that you'll see there as well. Now, there's a couple of other things that you'll see within the app itself in terms of staying connected with particular individuals, maybe protecting your time, as I mentioned before. When you look at kind of effective meetings, what were some of the meeting details, and what were some of the things that you get back? For example, are my overlapping meetings? Are my meetings over an hour? Have I RSVP'd to my meetings on time? Again, this is a demo environment, so it's not as rich, but that's what you'll be able to get from there. And inspiration library. We do have some actual videos and articles and other things from things like the Harvard Business Review, from our own kind of internal reviews that we have from Thrive. Lots of different ways that you can kind of, again, get some inspiration for ways that you may want to be more productive throughout your day. But Viva Insights is an incredible app. I highly, highly recommend, if you want to pin it on your left-hand rail as a reminder. If you do have it installed then, and you have access to it in Teams, it'll also prompt you in chat messages, activity bells, to remind you if you have things like focus time coming up, which can be a really great way to make sure that you're remembering it when you're in that flow of work within Teams. But I will stop for now in terms of Viva Personal Insights, and I'm actually going to hand it over to Stuart to share more around Power Automate and ways that you can automate some of the things throughout your day.
Cool, thank you. Are you going to reshare the presentation, Angela?
I can do, yes, indeed. Yeah. 1 second.
Thank you. I'm just noticing there's a couple of people in the chat just while you do that who are saying that they can't access that Yammer community.
It might be because of, and I think if it is the people that I think, it's because of the data residency of that, which we are currently moving over. So that will be resolved in about March time. I know that seems like a horrible thing, but if you do need to receive any of the recordings or anything else from today, you can just ping, just say, raise your hand or ping me on the side, and we'll be able to bring that out.
Cool.
Apologies. 1 second. I don't know why it's not letting me share it into the chat. Oh, there it is. There you go.
Cool. Thank you. Just wait for that.
Here's the.
Lovely. Okay. Now let me just take control of this, and then we'll be there. Right. Okay, so brilliant. So I'm going to talk to you today about Power Automate. Now, Power Automate sometimes sounds a bit scary to people, and they go, "Oh, I don't want to have anything to do with this. This is not my thing." But what I want you to kind of take away from today is that actually Power Automate is a tool that everybody can leverage to make minor productivity gains in their day, and all of those kind of add up together. So why should everybody kind of get involved with Power Automate? Well, we estimate that there's going to be a 4 million person shortfall of developers by 2025. Okay, and a lot of these kind of applications and development activities will be low code, so like drag and drop, like a flowchart workflow scenario. And we know that 50% of CIOs choose Power Automate as their automation platform, and you've got it today. It's already there. You don't have to do anything. It's a bit like Viva Insights that Angela was showing. It's already included. You can use this right now. Now, it fits into a wider suite of things, which is called the Power Platform. So we've got Power Apps, which is to make low-code applications. We've got Power Automate, which is to workflow and time-saving things. Power BI, which is that business analytics, making lovely looking graphs and things like this. Power Virtual Agents, which allows you to create your own chatbots, and then Power Pages, which is about creating externally facing websites that utilize data from within the Power Platform. So loads and loads of great stuff there. And it's not just within the Microsoft space. So Power Automate actually has connectors that go out to other services as well. So you can see that there's things here on this connectivity, such as Salesforce or Workday or even Google and things like this. So it doesn't have to be just within the realms of the Microsoft world. Obviously, we would love you to come and be all Microsoft, but we know that that's not the reality. Okay, so we can certainly reach out to other things. And by using using tools like Power Automate, it allows us to be more efficient so we can meet that business demand faster. It allows us to reduce our costs because we save a little bit of time for everybody. And it allows us to kind of seamlessly flow some of these things through. So if somebody makes a request, it gets actioned automatically straight away rather than having to wait. And actually, it's effortless. Hopefully the thing that you'll take away today is that the Power Platform, and specifically Power Automate, is for every user. We want to try and kind of start a campaign where everybody can save 5 minutes a day by using Power Automate, sorry, not PowerPoint. So let me show you. I don't do a lot of slides. I'm mainly demo. Okay. So hopefully you've got my screen there and you can see that I'm in Teams. So how do we start to get into Power Automate? Well, over here on the left-hand side, we've got apps. Now you've probably clicked that button in Teams and gone, "Whoa, that looks scary stuff." I don't know if I haven't got any Geekbot or Power, Leap Work or Zoho or things like this. So these are all third-party apps that you can bring into Teams. You might also see Power Apps in there as well. But if you look just down to the bottom here, there is another option which says workflows. So if you click on here, there are loads and loads of pre-made workflows that already exist that you can just click and implement straight away. So we've got things like editors picks, so ones that Microsoft recommend. But they're also kind of all grouped up together. So you might have productivity ones, remote work, things like this, social media, syncing up with other stuff like this. So let's say, for instance, if we had a look here on calendar, we could install we could create a Power Automate workflow that schedules a meeting from a message. Or if we go and have a look here, maybe create a planner task automatically if somebody puts a channel post that starts with to do. So let's have a look at this one. So I'm going to create a planner task when a channel post starts to do. Okay, it's telling me it's going to use Microsoft Teams and Planner. I can hit sign in. Okay, and it will just take a moment. There we go, to go in there. Okay, and I'm going to do it in the, where's my sales one? There you go. I'm going to do it in my sales, and I'm going to do it in the general channel. Okay, and then the plan, where does the planner live? Okay, so the planner live in sales, and we're going to use the sales task plan. So it's kind of just asking us all of those questions to set it up for us automatically. I hit onto the button there, and that's it done. Easy peasy. Okay, so now if I go over to my my task here, okay, and I do my channel post, okay, and I might say send latest offers to all customers. Okay, and then if somebody writes that into that, then Power Automate will fire up in the background, and then it will create that as a task. There you go. I can see there it's already said task created. And if I go to my tasks, you can see that it has created that for me automatically. So that thing might have taken you 30 seconds to go and do, to go to the planner board, to go and click on add task, type in the thing and stuff like this. Whereas these just little micro time savings can really help you out there. Okay, but on the flip side of that, let's just have another look here. We might say we want to notify the team when a planner task changes status. So again, same thing. Here we go. We do sign in here. Just wait a minimo for that to go. Okay, so again, I'm going to go into my sales team. Here it is. Sales task. Okay, and then we're going to notify the sales team in the general channel. And I add the workflow here. Okay, and then I'm going to do done. Now, if I pop over to my team, okay, or my planner here, let's say that we had this task here that said send out the latest offers to all customers. Okay, and Megan has now completed that. Okay, that's done. We're all happy there. And if I go over to posts, then just in a moment that will come in and it will post a new message into there to say that Megan has completed her task. So again, it just saves us a little bit of time because we don't have to update everyone to go, oh, I've done that thing now. And I'll leave these to you to have a look at these because there are loads of great things here that might work for you. So for instance, if I go, let's hear, there's a really nice one that I like. Let me try and find it. Start a timer. So let's say that you're running like a little training course or something like this, and you want to have an automatic timer that tells people when their time is up. So I'm going to go on to start a timer, do add workflow. Okay, and then I'm going to do done. Okay, really, really quick there. But then let's say that I was in a meeting. No, because I don't have any meetings up and running. But let's just pretend here. Oh, look. So yeah, you can see that update's come in there. Okay, I'm going to do new. And then down here, there's a little workflow button. So I can say start a timer. Okay, and I'm going to say start a timer for 10 seconds. There we go. And hit submit. And that will then just run in the back. And then when 10 seconds is up, it will pop a message in here into the channel. It's a bit weird to put it in a channel, but if you were doing it in a meeting, that means you don't need to worry about that. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. 10-second timer is done. And you can use this thing here, this way that you can send this card up and ask for information to do some really clever stuff here. So let's say here I've got a list here of all of our retail customers, and I can see this one 27560 is on hold. It's worth 160,000, so it's on hold. I want to know a bit more information about that. But rather than just asking Nesta, I want to include a bit of a little bit of information as well to go with that. Okay, so what I can do, I need to remember that number 27560. What I can do is I can actually create my own workflow. Okay, and I can do that by hitting this plus button, creating a new action, and just creating a new one from scratch. So the great thing is that you can go and use those templates, look at the structure, because you can open them, and I'll show you how you can open them. And you might say, oh, actually, you know, for our message, for our selected message in Teams, I'm going to ask a question, okay, and then I'm going to go off and do some things. And I'll show you what it looks like. Let me show you in practice first. So this is a little bit more, this is the next level when somebody kind of starts to get a little bit more confident with this. So I might say, get store details for a chat message. And I've already forgotten what the number is. 27560. Oh my goodness. 27560. Why is this customer still on hold? We need to get this moving. Please update. Okay. And what that's going to do is that's going to go off to my SharePoint list, and it's going to pull out information here. So you can see that it's pulled out what the name of the store is, who the account manager is, and it tagged him in. So Nesta will get a notification that about this question. It's pulled in that sales target, and then it's added in my message. Now, if I have a look at Power Automate, okay, and you can see here are all the ones that I'd set up. Okay, so that was my starter timer, notify team, and so you can go in and you can edit these. So if you don't like the message, you can change the message. But if I have a look at this get store details for a chat message, this is the one
I was going to say, someone was going to ask if you can actually show customizing one of those messages that goes through.
Yeah. So here for this one, I said from the compose box, okay, and then it's got this really nifty card designer here. So you could say, oh, actually, I'm going to drag in this card here, okay, and I'm going to put my message in here. So you could go into that. Then we say we go and we get our items from that SharePoint list, and then we loop through them, and we post a message here, and we type that message, okay. So if I said, let's say we change that to say, go away, it'll pop up there. I might say store query details. I can just change that, hit save, and then that will be done there. Similarly, just wait, that's it, fit to save. If I go and I went to my starter timer, if I didn't like ding, 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 your time is up, then I can actually go in and edit that, have a look through here, and there's my message, ding, ding, your such and such timer is done. So I could go, instead of saying ding, ding, I could say whoop, whoop, or whatever. And you can go in it and change that there. But it's a great way to use those templates. You can then use that to customize the way that you want it to look and work for you. Now, I did see somebody had popped a somebody popped a question there who talked about kind of ownership. So there are a lot of questions about ownership on Power Automate, but what we're trying to do here is this is about my personal, my productivity. So I know in my job, 20 times a day, I go and check a mailbox, and if it meets a certain criteria, then I go and copy it into a Teams message. I could automate that for me. Okay, so and there's a whole load of information about how you can use Power Automate for team or organizational productivities, and maybe that even becomes a logic app at some point and goes into Azure and gets owned by the organization. But this here is about our personal productivity for me. So I own this planner board. I want to let people know when the task changes. I'm going to create that automation. Okay, and it's no different really when we think about it to when we have Outlook rules that say, oh, well, I've got an Outlook rule that moves this email into this folder and things like this. We're trying to get it to be on the same kind of ilk as that, so that people can really own the productivity there. Cool. I think that is everything that I was going to share. I did have another one. I don't know how we're doing for time, Angela.
There's a couple of questions that you might be able to demo too. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So a couple of questions were about customizing the standard card sent out, but another one was, can this be sent, can you send something to all individuals within a company, or the individuals within a company on their individual teams, or does it have to be done in a channel? So can you send it in a chat message, for example, versus in a channel if you wanted to do some level of automation cards being sent? And then similarly, can you in any way get a reply such as a yes no answer from a user?
Yeah, so okay, so we'll do two of these things. So if you're looking, if the question is, can I replicate some of the functionality of things like Company Communicator, for instance, which allows us to send out org-wide communications, you would struggle with Power Automate, only because there are some rate limits on how quickly it can send out cards to everyone. So if you had a large organization, you might struggle a little bit on that. Great news is there's some really good features that are coming that will allow you to send out like org-wide communications. There's something called Viva Engage, which is going to be really, really great to be able to take you forward with that. The other one was about how we could kind of get responses back. So a great way you can do these kind of things is things like approvals. I know it's not quite the same, but I'll show you two things here. So one is approvals. So let's say that we wanted to start an approval, for instance, if somebody submits a form. So let's say that I had forms here. And if you haven't used forms for a little while, go back and have a look, because there are loads of really great templates here. Okay, if you go to explore templates, like all of the stuff that you might want here, like expense reimbursement or holiday forms or facility forms and things like this. So let's say that I added this expense reimbursement form. There it is. Okay, and that should be now saved in my forms. Let me just check that for a moment. There it is. Right. Okay. So let me pop back to Teams. So I could say start an approval when a response is submitted in forms. So there we go. Sign in. There we go. Next. Okay. And then what is the form? So it is the expense reimbursement form. Or now which one is it? Because I've got two. This lovely looking number. I should have named them better. MGQ. I think it's the other one. Okay. Sorry. Right. Okay. Let's say it was this one, and then we have like an approved reject or first to respond. So then we could say what's it going to be called? Just create that. It'll take a moment. I think because I've deleted one of my other ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause on this one because I know that Chris has got one coming up on this as well. The other one, let's just super quickly then look at this one. Was the question was around, can we use that card to get information back? Absolutely. So if I went here, I went onto this workflow. There we go, workflow, and I'm going to create a new one. Create a new app, create a new action. There we go. Let's do this super quickly. There we go. Teams from the compose box. So we've got our card here. So we'll just leave this card as it is. Your name, your email, your phone number. Great. Okay. And then we could take that and then I could, let's just post it back into the team. So I could post message, here we go. I'm rushing now because I don't want to take up all of the time because I know Angela's got some great stuff on Power BI coming up.
No, take your time. My bit is like 2 minutes, so you're good.
Okay.
We've got more requests in the chat for you as well. So
okay. So here, then we can pull in things like the name of the person and some of that card detail, and then we can post that back here. So absolutely, yes, you can ask the question, create that card, take the response, and either post it back here, or you could post it into go and stick it into a planner list or whatever, any of those things. Anything else? Was there anything else on that?
I think that one's okay. And then one question was, if I'm not wrong, you said you could get details from incoming emails, Outlook. Could you please demonstrate if you've got time?
For sure. Okay, so let's go here to Power Automate. So, you know, Angela said go on the ... and find Viva Insights. If you go onto the ... and find Power Automate, then you can create your app here, your flow here. And I'm going to create it from blank. Okay, and I'm going to look for Outlook. What's the trigger? Okay, so when a new email arrives, or let's say when a new email arrives in a shared mailbox, for instance, but let's say when a new email arrives, there we go, in my inbox, and you could say things like if it's to a certain person or is from a certain person or looks like, let's say that it's got the word to do in it. Okay, and we'll do the same things we did before. So we'll create a task in a planner. So in our US sales, oops, there we go. In our US sales, in the sales task, and the title of the task is going to be the subject of the message. Okay, let's say that is what our thing's going to be. And then if I go to Outlook, okay, and Outlook. Okay, and what's my name? That one. There we go. Oh, loads of pop-ups. There we go. And I say to do, send follow-up email to attendees. There we go. If I just send that to myself, there it is. And then what will happen is in the background, hopefully I click save on that. In the background, that will run. There we go. Let's just check that. Did I save it? I'm not sure if I did or not there. Oh, there you go. And there it is. So to do, send a follow-up email to attendees. So yes, you can connect. You can kind of connect that. That's the beauty of Power Automate is, I mean, I'm showing you a lot of the things which are the out of the box ones on on Teams stuff. But the great thing is that actually you can connect anything to anything really, and it glues lots of parts of Microsoft 365 together. And you can see here, if you went to email, for instance, then there'll be a pre-canned one. I probably didn't even need to set it up from scratch, because there would have been a pre-canned. There you go, look, forward emails to a channel, create a Teams chat if it's got the word create a chat. So if someone sends a group email and it says create a chat in it, then it would actually create a chat session with all of those people. We've got ones there for Gmail, etc. So there's loads of stuff there that you can actually go. And I know I saw somebody asked about tutorials and things like this and how do you learn. To be honest, the best way to learn is actually to have a look at these templates, because they're really simple, but it makes you go, oh, I can do that. So a great way to learn there from that. Okay, that is me. I'm going to stop going on because I know you've got a little bit of Power BI, and then we're just going to talk about some of the upcoming sessions.
Yeah, so we'll keep this hopefully nice and breezy. Present in Teams. There we go. Present. We will definitely send out the recording afterwards as well, so don't worry about that. So for Power BI, this is just another kind of quick win, a quick thing that you can kind of check out is Power BI, but using it through Teams. No need for a pro license, no need for the other stuff. So we'll play a quick video for you just to kind of bring that into context really quick. Awesome. And if you want access to that video or use it for your own things, then please do message me afterwards. You can definitely do that. But the value of Power BI in Teams. So I guess looking at a number of BI tools that there are, it's expected that it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And the end user adoption of the tools is also the kind of the key thing to have a look at as well from within there. But I'm just not going to bore you with all that stuff. I'm actually just going to quickly go into a demo. Where is my screen? I got to share the right screen now too. So if I share my guest screen, here we are. So we're back with where Viva Insights was. Again, if I wanted to search for Power BI, the three dots over here on the side, and then click on Power BI, I won't kind of waste your time with going in and out of that. But you can get access to all, if you do use Power BI in your day-to-day, then you'll be able to see all of your different workspaces, your most recent dashboards that you've been to, everything that you could imagine that you're kind of doing within Power BI, you can easily access through the app over here. Now, if you, for example, aren't necessarily a massive Power BI user, or things around premium, whatever that kind of licensing model, whatever it is that you might have like kind of a little bit of hesitancy around, there's a really great dashboard that is available to everyone, which is analyzing your own team's usage. And if you click on this here, it's quite just an interesting little look at what was your meeting summary within the last 7 days, your messages you've sent, and actually they're going to start to, in the background, connect all of my team, my own personal team's activity data, so I can understand a little bit more about how it is that I use Teams in my day-to-day. And then also a little bit more around my team activity. So overall, you can look at maybe from your meeting teams, and I can look at that over a 7, 14, 31, or 90-day period. How many meetings I participated in, meetings that I organized, one-to-one calls that I had, what's a little bit of the summary of that? Was I sharing audio, video, screen sharing, just to get a little bit more insight there, and how many messages I sent, both in a chat or a channel or replying within a channel. Now, it's really great insight to understand, one, just how much time you're spending in Teams, which I'm sure for a lot of us is quite a bit of time, but then also to get a little bit more insight into the type of activity that you're doing in Teams and thinking to yourself, are there ways that I could be more productive? Am I spending more time in meetings than I am messaging? Or am I spending a lot of time doing one-to-one chat messages? Maybe I could be doing more within channels so that my messages can be to a wider audience, to be able to express, to share that with other people. When I look at kind of team activity, I can see which teams am I active in how many active users are in there, are the channels active within there, are people posting and replying? What about days without active users and days without posts or reply? If it's quite a lot, then you may want to consider archiving some of those teams or reigniting it and doing a little bit more adoption around those particular teams as well. So again, how can we be more productive even just from within the team's environment? And if I wanted to look at any of the teams that I'm a part of as well, in terms of this Contoso one, in the last 90 days, the team has had 4 active users across 1 active channel, and it gives you a nice little summary and a little graph there as well. So again, if you're looking at how it is that you're being productive from within your team's environment, it's a nice, easy way to get that information back. And with any of the dashboards that you have within Power BI that you access via Teams, you can quickly chat in Teams and share this to a particular individual or to a chat, a channel, wherever that may be. Add a little bit extra around it and say, hey, this is interesting. We should pick up the adoption. And maybe I actually just want to message that into a chat that I have with Alex and Alan, and I want to share that out with them. And I've shared it there. Again, I can actually share it in other ways as well if I wanted to. Things like, for example, sharing it within PowerPoint can be quite a powerful tool when it comes to BI data. But if I go back to the app as well within Teams, actually, let me show you the chat that also I have with Alex and Alan. Where are they? Here it is that they can actually open it from within Teams and they don't have to go out to a different window within Teams. They get direct access. They can access it then via the Power BI dashboard. They can see all the different bits within there, and then we can continue that conversation in terms of chat around that particular message. Now, if I go back to the Power BI app within Teams, again, other things that you may want to have a look at is just around different metrics, different scorecards, things that I can kind of create, different workspaces. Now there's an entire customer hub that's dedicated to Power BI and Teams. So I will not steal their thunder, and nor do I want to kind of go into too many different things around it today, but we just thought it would be nice for you to understand that it's a quick way for you to understand your own productivity in terms of how you use Teams. But then also, if you are someone that uses a lot of dashboards within your own day-to-day, accessing it via the Teams app can be quite a useful tool as well. So I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. Perfect. And I'll reshare the.
I'm queuing it up. That's all right. I was just queuing up.
Perfect.
Okay.
As a Teams administrator, such a Power BI will be very useful for the whole tenant. Is that available for the usage? As a Teams administrator, you should be able to access that even just via the Teams admin center, and there will be a quick win within there, but I'll message you on the side about that one. Perfect.
Cool. So I just want to give a little bit. We've not got a whole amount of time for Q&A. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to just jump forward to the calls to action so we can just quickly talk about that. So hopefully you've really enjoyed what you've got seen today. What we would love you to do is to just start using it, set up a focus time, use the virtual commute, set up a flow to help automate your time. Just have like a target and say, do you know what, I'm going to do something that saves me 5 minutes a day. You know, if you do it every day, it's worth automating because it can definitely save you a lot of time as it builds up. And of course, we want to kind of create this viral moment. So share this tip with others. If you've got your own adoption groups internally for your organization, then send them there.